and welcome back. Today, I've once again invited my colleague here, and who else could it be but Pavel Čermak. Hi, Pavel.
Hi, Luca. Hello to all the viewers and fans of Serena Zemlje.
So today, we'd like to introduce a product to you that we've added to our range quite recently. It's a hemp oil in fish oil with CBD. Let's talk about it in more detail. So, Paja, tell us what's in this beneficial product, which we actually recommend especially for children and seniors.
It would be good to mention the uniqueness of this composition, as my colleague Luca pointed out, because it really is a blend of several substances that are very important and beneficial for the body. It would also be good to start by mentioning the very origin of the fish oil itself. This fish oil is actually imported to us by an Icelandic company that practices sustainable fishing methods. These fish are naturally fatty, they are not farmed fish, so the essential fatty acids in them are much more easily absorbed by our bodies. There is actually no risk of contamination by certain parasites, as there is with farmed fish. This company maintains or practices a sustainable method of fishing. So that's a little bit about the origin of this fish oil. Now, if we move on, whether just slightly or even straight away to the content of the active ingredients, it actually contains a whole range of essential amino acids and essential omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids. And that's primarily from the 4 types of fish oils that this product contains. EPA and DHA acids are present there from fish, sardines, tuna, cod, and shark. And then there are GLA, Louisiana, and ALA acids, which actually come from hemp oil. I would add to this that, for example, shark oil, among other things, contains so-called alkyl glycerols, which are substances that are actually found in bone marrow, in saliva, and also in breast milk. In other organs or outside of the human body, these substances are not actually found. They are present only in shark livers. Thanks to this, sharks have incredible regenerative abilities, and even when it is caught from relatively, let's say, dirty waters, it is not actually affected by any disease, and truly sharks enjoy good health. That is why it is actually a prehistoric animal that has survived here for an entire era and has been on this earth for several million years. And scientists primarily believe that this is thanks to this substance, these alkyl glycerols, which incredibly stimulate the immune system. DHA actually contributes to the normal functioning of the brain and nervous system, while EPA acid primarily focuses on the cardiovascular system. On the other hand, GLA acid from hemp oil, not from fish, nourishes the membranes of cells in the central nervous system and acts as a prevention against neurodegenerative diseases. Furthermore, it's worth mentioning that all these essential fatty acids, whether from fish or from hemp oil, actually enhance each other. They boost each other's absorption, also thanks to the minerals and trace elements contained in this product. Of course, another group of substances present in this oil are so-called tocopherols, which are mostly vitamin E compounds that act as antioxidants. These omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids found in these oils initiate a certain repair process, for which it is very important to have a sufficient amount or concentration of these antioxidants in your body so that this repair process is not rendered ineffective. Then, of course, there are naturally occurring vitamins such as A, D, and E, which are commonly found in fish oils. And then there is rosemary extract. The rosemary extract, of course, acts as a preservative for the oil after opening, so it prevents the oil from going rancid quickly. The oil lasts much longer after being opened. And firstly, the rosemary extract actually helps to beautifully open up the cells. As a result, it actually kickstarts the repair process and the absorption of those essential fatty acids much faster and more intensely. Because these are substances that, when lacking in the body, their effects may only become apparent after a month and a half to even a quarter of a year of use specifically with essential fatty acids, because truly this kind of therapy requires long-term application. And of course, it's important to mention at the end that it also contains 1000 milligrams of CBD, which is actually equivalent to 1 bottle of 10% CBD oil, where in the recommended daily dose, which is 5 milliliters, the content is roughly 20 milligrams.
So, let's talk about who this oil is actually intended for.
Who is this oil intended for? It is primarily intended for children with developmental disorders, so for children with autism, developmental delays, dysphasia, ADHD, ADD, or for people with neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or neurological conditions like multiple sclerosis. But of course, it is also great for people with so-called lifestyle diseases, high blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, and of course also for breastfeeding and pregnant women.
And now the taste. When I hear hemp oil and fish oil with CBD, I imagine there might be a bit of a fishy taste coming through, which could initially be unpleasant for some customers. Paja, should we be worried about a fishy taste?
The taste is distinctly herbal thanks to the rosemary extract it contains. When we had the children in our company taste this product, they hardly even noticed that it contained fish oil, so I highly recommend it. You really can't taste the fish at all.
So, how about the recommended dosage for this particular product?
The label states 5 milliliters per day. Of course, for children, we can also choose a gradual increase, so start with 2.5 milliliters per day, and after about 14 days, the dose is increased to the desired 5 milliliters. This dose doesn't have to be the final one. It can be increased up to 10 milliliters, but ideally, it's best to consult our advisory service about any increase in advance. I recommend always giving this oil after or with food. It doesn't matter whether it's in the morning or evening, I'll leave that up to you, since each of you has experience with fish oil and has taken it at different times of the day, so that's entirely your choice. And it's important not to take it on an empty stomach.
And I'd really like to thank you for watching our little webinar today. We look forward to seeing you next time, and especially thank you to Paj for taking the time to visit us and enriching us with a lot of new information. Thank you, Pajo.
Have a great Christmas and a rich Santa Claus.
And above all, good health. Bye-bye.
Hello, hello.